was online, they mentioned that
It is 7.
okay.
Go on.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the November 17th meeting of the Newmarket Town Council, and we will start as always with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the first item on our agenda is for public forum, and seeing no members of the public here this evening, I will close the public forum at 7:01. And next we have minutes, the acceptance of minutes, and we have two items this evening. The first is our regular meeting minutes from November 3rd, and I would accept a motion to approve those.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from the November 3rd regular meeting.
I'll second.
Any questions, comments, changes? Seeing none, if you could call the roll, please.
Councilor Brayback? Aye. Councilor Pfeiffer?
Aye.
Councilor Blackstone?
Aye.
Councilor Ward?
Aye.
Councilor Conlon?
Aye.
Councilor Sanders?
Aye.
Councilor Weinstein?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
And next we have, also from November 3rd, the minutes from the Town Council Planning Board joint meeting.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the Town Council Planning Board joint meeting from November 3rd, 2021.
I'll second.
Any changes, questions, comments? Seeing none, if you can call the roll, please.
Councilor Brayback? Abstain. Councilor Pfeiffer?
Aye.
Councilor Blackstone?
Aye.
Councilor Ward?
Aye.
Councilor Conlon?
Aye.
Councilor Sanders?
Aye.
Councilor Weinstein?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0-1.
Thank you. And next we have the Town Manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, and not written in my report because we got the information yesterday. Yesterday, we set the tax rate with the Department of Revenue Administration. The new tax rate for this year is $26.36, an increase of 90 cents, or 3.5% increase. The increase is going that actually the town portion was reduced by 17 cents. It went from $6.01 to $5.84. The local school went up $1.12. It went from $16.50 to $17.62. The state school went down 6 cents from $2.04 to $1.98, and the county went up a penny from 91 cents to 92 cents. Just to let people know, when we talk state school, it's not money that we send to Concord and get back. It's just that we have to collect this portion as adequacy. So we still keep it here. It's sort of a misnomer that says the state school, but that's something we must collect there. So right now, it's 75% of every tax dollar goes to the schools, 3% to the county, and 22% goes to the town. Just to break it down a little bit further, the average home price in Newmarket now is $385,000. They will see an increase in their tax bill of $346.50. For the town, they'll see a decrease of $65.45. The combined state and school will see an increase of $408.10, and the county will see an increase of $3.85 for the year. Tax bills will be due on December 20th, and if you have any questions, please call the town clerk, tax collector, or the assessor if you have any questions on your valuation of your property. So back to my written report. As of November 12th, there were 21 active cases of COVID in the community. We have had 758 or 8% of the population have had COVID. Our health region, which is the Seacoast and Rockingham, still have substantial levels of community transmission. They saw a 6.1% increase in new cases over the past week, and it was up 2.4% over the previous report. As for vaccinations, we're still seeing very little in new vaccinations. We have hit 60% of the community vaccinated with at least one shot. We are at 62.1% with one shot and 57% with both shots. Again, when we say one shot, Johnson & Johnson is in there. As the council is aware, and hopefully a lot of the public, vaccinations for children between the ages of 5 and 11 have begun. They're receiving a smaller dose of the Pfizer vaccine in 2 sessions. People can now sign up online or visit their pediatrician. We are going to be having a clinic for children in that age group on Saturday, November 20th from 9 a.m. to noon at the Newmarket Elementary School. We ask people to pre-register at newmarketrec.org. You can walk in and get the shots. We are at currently 72 people have signed up beforehand, and this is also open to people outside of Newmarket. This is not a Newmarket school, not a Newmarket community, but as a community as a whole to get shots in arms. So if you know somebody who needs one and you can't get through, the other thing we ask that if your child has issues with needles, that it's probably better to go see their pediatrician to do it in a situation like this. But I do want to thank Lamprey Healthcare, the fire department and recreation department and the school department for all the work we've done. I mean, we literally found out last week and we were able to get going. But as I said, first session will be this on November 20th, and December 11th will be the second one. I believe that's a Saturday.
That's awesome.
So the other thing is, if you have a booster, odds are most people can get boosters now, especially if you're dealing with people in the front lines or see people in the community, and be aware that you can also mix them. So if you had Moderna for one, you can get Pfizer now, and if you had vice versa. Just an update on the fiscal year 2022. We've completed the first third of the year. At the end of October, at this time we've expended 36% of the operating budget. I mean, this is on par with our normal operations. As for revenues, we're on par there as well. We are seeing an uptick in building permits as well as motor vehicle registrations. I included a copy of the expense and revenues report. Other things that we are watching is, again, we're seeing the rate of inflation go sky high. That's worrisome for us. The one thing that I was discussing with some of my colleagues in the municipal conference today is the one difference, though, is the last time we had a situation like this in 2008, we also had higher interest rates, so our investments that we were receiving on interest was much higher. I can tell you in my previous community, I went from earning $300,000 on interest on investments to $10,000 in 1 year. We don't have that this year because we're not making any money. There's no interest rates out there. So that's one good thing about this, but we're still just very concerned over the rate of inflation, what it may impact with us. Finally, 2 other things. The Capital Improvement Program Committee, during their preview of the plan this year, asked what the town's plan for Town Hall is. While we have done upgrades recently, we still need to address space issues as well as electrical and energy issues. Also, we have a few underutilized facilities, such as the Beach Street Community Center and Packers Falls Water Facility. After preliminary discussions with the school district, I feel it's time to do a facilities analysis for the Town Hall and other town and school buildings for future use. I'll be working with the facilities director to issue a request for proposal to hire a firm to review our current facilities and space needs. And finally, with Bay Road and South Main Street's upgrade being completed, the Environmental Service Department is looking to upgrade the utility lines under what I'm going to refer to as the hill section of the town. These streets in the area bounded by Spring, South, Elm, and Main Streets. This will be a major undertaking due to the age of the system in the area and how developed the area is. In addition, when we do this, we should redevelop those streets to upgrade the streetscapes and sidewalks to match the streetscapes inside of Main Street. The Environmental Services Director has asked an engineering firm to provide an estimate just for the design phase in order to allow us to plan for the coming years. And that's all I have tonight, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments for the town manager on either the his written report or the department reports? Counselor Sanders.
Steve, I have a quick question for the second vaccination for the kids. Would people who didn't take advantage of the one in November be able to get a first shot in December? Or is that only for children who've already gotten one and they need their second shot?
I'm going to find that out tomorrow because I was thinking the same thing today.
Yeah, because there are some parents who are a little hesitant to be the first in line.
And if we can, we'll advertise that they can get one there.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Counselor Blackstone.
Sean, in the last quarterly report, I asked for pictures, particularly in Sean's area, and sure enough, I got a picture, but the reason I wanted a picture and stuff is that I don't know what this stuff is and what it looks like, and it's just a picture. I have no idea what it's a picture of. So if he could give, I asked for pictures, and that's what I got. So now I want pictures and captions.
Description, yeah, makes sense.
Thank you.
Counselor Conley.
Steve, let me know if anybody needs any help, if anybody needs any volunteer stuff to shuffle people around or pick things up or put things away. Happy
Thank
to
you.
help in any way I can.
I'm not seeing any other comments. I don't have a lot. I just wanted to mention that I really appreciated the format of the reports, and I'm looking to Wendy because I'm assuming that this came from you. It all just looked very professional, and like having that continuity was it Steve? Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I made an assumption. So sorry.
Thanks. No,
But I appreciated it. It was, we've talked about things like that, for, I don't know, years, and just to have that, like I said, continuity of one report to the next. So that was great. So thank you, Steve.
Nice formatting.
Right? It's little changes make a big difference. Okay. So moving on to committee reports. Are there any committee reports? Okay. Counselor Sanders.
The Arts and Tourism Committee met last night, and we will be putting up mistletoe selfie spots downtown for Mary Main Street. There will be 3 or 4 of them. We're trying to nail down the locations. There will be mistletoe and Christmas wreaths and decorations, and feel free to take your selfies and post them to the Arts and Tourism Facebook page.
Love that.
Or ussies.
Or ussies, or whatever.
Counselor Blackstone.
So the planning board met last week. We had an interesting thing. Somebody came to the planning board to congratulate the planning board, and specifically who's the head of planning?
Diane.
Diane, yeah, geez, I don't know what it was. And specifically to thank Diane for resolving an issue around the industrial park here. So that was nice. It's the first time I've seen someone come and compliment me. The planning board expressed a great deal of disappointment with the joint meeting. They thought they came with an agenda. They thought the agenda was ignored, and we got a presentation that was identical to the presentation we got last year. And I have to agree with that. I was sitting watching the presentation thinking, okay, where's it going to change? But it was, it was exactly the same slides and everything as last year. And so they felt that they didn't get a chance to really discuss anything, and they're proposing that we meet again in March after the election, so in case the board's different, and we publish a joint agenda beforehand.
Okay.
Please.
Part of that was for staff and to get we've been discussing those plans for a while, but we've given preliminary presentations on them, but we've never got a real go-ahead, like, keep going. We just said, okay, this is where we are so far. Do we go down this road? And that was sort of the reason why we're saying that is, guys, are we going the right direction? Or is there a red flag that we should be raised right now to stop any of this going forward? Now, from now, we're going to probably start bringing up the policy decisions. Okay, do we rezone North Main Street? Bring that to the planning board. Do we need to invest more in infrastructure going towards down 152 to Lee? for, so that becomes the council for water and sewer, but I think that was the reason why we were there for that portion.
Well, that wasn't expressed. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You know, when I was there. It
So
just
I just
looked
wanted
like
just to
we
clarify.
rehashed the same thing over
Yep.
again, so.
Can I ask, was there, because I don't think that I saw an agenda from the planning board.
I
didn't
never
know
saw
that-
a document from the planning board,
No.
just a note.
Okay,
Val, I mean, I didn't see it, but Val told me that there was an agreed upon agenda.
I was CC'd on a agenda for that meeting. It was very short, though. It just said, I mean, I could look it up, but it was a few things. It wasn't fairly complex or detailed.
Oh, yeah, maybe I missed it,
Yeah.
but I mean, usually
Right.
agendas are done between the chairs. So if the
Right.
chair wasn't notified, then,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
yeah.
Well, the reason I say
That's
that is
unfortunate.
one of the members suggested that to the chairman of the planning board, that maybe we should have had an agenda, that way we wouldn't have this problem. And the chairman of the planning board said, oh no, there was definitely agenda agreed, and then, so, I don't know.
I can assure you that there was no agenda agreed upon between the chairs anyway.
Yeah,
Um,
so it was a misunderstanding.
was there anything else to report from the planning board, or?
No, that was it. It was a very
Okay.
short meeting.
And I can also say that at least for the new, for
I'm
myself.
just gonna ask that people
oh,
use their
so sorry.
button, sorry, thank you. Please, go ahead. Councilor
Okay.
Moore.
I can also say that as a newer member of the council, seeing the background information and understanding the plan as part of that joint meeting was helpful, at least for me.
And from that meeting and then our subsequent meeting afterwards, I did draft a letter to the planning board, and that was sent out and CC'd to the council, so hopefully everyone did receive that. I was hoping to get that in prior to the planning board's meeting last week, but I think it was just over as the next day, so they should have it now. Any other committee reports? Seeing none, we can move on to resolutions in the second reading, and we have two this evening. And the first, let's pull this up, is resolution 2021-2022-12, and it's the Newfields Dispatch Agreement, and I would accept a motion to approve that resolution.
I'll make a motion, we approve Resolution 2021-2022-12, agreement to provide dispatch services to the town of Newfields.
I'll second.
Thank you, and did you wanna?
It's
speak
just
to
a
that?
continuation. We've been providing dispatch services to the town of Newfield for the last few years, and we charge them for the fee, and they've been happy with it. Because, you know, they used to be with Rockingham County, which was a free service, but they wanted to have better coverage, so they came with our dispatch center.
Are there any questions or comments for the town manager? Oh, Councilor Conley.
Are there any changes being made to the agreement, or is it the same as the previous
Same,
one?
same as before.
Seeing no other comments, if you could call the roll, please.
Councilor Whittle? Aye. Councilor Piper?
Aye.
Councilor Blackstone?
Aye.
Councilor Ward?
Aye.
Councilor Conlon?
Aye.
Councilor Sanders?
Aye.
Councilor Weinstein?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
And the next, we have resolution 2021-2022-14, and it's the resolution authorizing the issuance of refunding a bond, and I would accept a motion to approve that resolution.
I'll make a motion, we approve Town Council Resolution 2021-2022-14, resolution authorizing the issuance of refunding bond.
I'll second.
Did you wanna speak to that?
Do you wanna give an overview of what we're doing?
Sure. So, I mean, it's fairly clear what we're doing is refunding a bond that was at, it's actually, there's two separate loans equaling $10,340,000. 0.625%, and we have the opportunity to knock it down 0.3 something. So, although that doesn't sound like a lot, it ends up to being combined 322,000 plus. So, although that's over, a number of years, it's still, has a measurable impact on community in terms of savings. So, we decided to go for it. I just got information this afternoon that the bond application was approved by the bond bank, so that's a plus. And it's really just awaiting the council's approval. So,
Great.
any
Thank you.
questions?
Are there any questions?
Yeah, I would just like to point out that I was the trustee of the trust fund in Alton, the town in northern New Hampshire, and we had TD Bank as our bank.
Yeah.
And we used to do that kind of stuff all the time. They'd always come in and say, we got this new rate, and we'd have a 10-year bond. Every 6 months we'd move it around. Yeah,
Wow.
They're very forgiving in that way.
Yeah. Actually, may I?
Please, yes.
So I met with TD Securities yesterday by phone because I got kind of excited about this whole process, not because I love refunding bonds, but it was the idea
I
that,
love refunding.
well, I love saving money for the community, but what really got me going was I realized we could probably do better on the market if we were to have our own bond rating. So I was talking with them to start initial discussions just to find out what would that process look like so that we could do it outside of just the bond bank, and then we'd have other options. Plus, that kind of makes us like the big boys.
So when you hear municipalities say we have a AA bond
Yeah.
rating, that we would have a bond rating like that.
Exactly.
The only thing I would caution about is if you go out in the market and pick a bond, you get a 10-year or 30-year bond.
Right.
You got a 10-year, 30-year bond.
That's right.
With TD, they allow you to move it around a lot, and so there's some advantages to that too, and it's worth considering that.
Good idea.
Great. Are there any other questions or comments? I'm seeing none. If you could call the roll.
Counselor Breda? Aye. Counselor Pfeiffer?
Aye.
Counselor Blackstone?
Aye.
Counselor Ward?
Aye.
Counselor Connolly?
Aye.
Counselor Sanders?
Aye.
Counselor Weinstein?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Great. And next we have nominations and appointments, and we have one or two this evening, depending on how you look at it. And so I don't know how we want to. How do you?
Yeah, I think the issue is if the individual is approved to be an alternate to the Conservation Commission, the Conservation Commission, don't they have a seat on the Energy and Environment, representative to it?
They used to. We've changed that because no one came.
I would recommend asking the Conservation Commission to send somebody. Are you full? Is the committee full? Then I think that's the cleaner way to do it. is to allow somebody to, if the individual wants to just serve on the, it's odd when you were serving on one committee and then get appointed to a separate committee. Because usually if you're on one committee, you represent that committee. And you don't turn your hat off, depending where you go.
I mean, there have been people who have served on multiple
Yeah.
committees. I know, and I asked the town manager about this earlier, because I read this application as they were looking for a membership to the Conservation Commission as an alternate, and their alternate position was to be an Energy and Environment Committee member. Like, that's how I read that, and so I don't know what they were seeking exactly. But there is an alternate position on the Conservation Commission?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that if we approve her for that would be, that's how I read that, rather than both positions. And she could clarify that. I was hoping that maybe she would be here tonight and she could clarify it for us. Because then if we wanted to have her or any person from the Conservation Commission be a representative to the Energy and Environment Advisory Committee, in an official capacity, we would have to change the composition of that committee again, right?
Right.
So, so at this point, do you recommend that we just approve
I would
the
say
Conservation
just approve the
Commission?
Conservation Commission, and we can figure that second part out.
Did you have a question, Counselor Sanders?
My reading of it was the opposite. I would think she's trying to get on the Energy and Environment Committee, and if she didn't get that, she'd take the Conservation alternative, because she's also listed on the next application,
Right.
alternate position applied for Energy and Environment Advisory. So I have the opposite feeling. I think that's the one, and we don't know because she's not here.
Right.
Just reading those two applications, I think that's the one she really wanted, and if she didn't get that one, she'd get the other one. But I don't know that.
Well, they both read the same.
They're relatively
Mhm.
good.
They're both the same.
Exactly.
So full membership position applying for Conservation Commission alternative. Alternate position applying for is Energy and Environment Advisory.
Yeah.
I guess we can clarify this and just do it the December 1st meeting.
That might be the best
Yeah.
solution.
I mean, I don't think anybody's meeting next week anyway, so.
Right.
Nope.
Conservation's meeting tomorrow,
But, okay,
but
yeah,
it could probably wait.
yeah,
Right, especially if she's applying as an alternate.
right.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
All right. Then we have 3 resolutions tonight for first reading. And the first is Resolution 2021-2022-15, and it's the Tucker Well Construction Engineering. Whereas the Water Department has secured funding from rural development for the Tucker Well project, and whereas Wright Pierce Engineering has performed the design engineering and permitting, and whereas adding the Tucker Well to the town's water system will increase the water system's capacity by 0.4 MGD, and whereas the added capacity will meet the town's water needs for the next 20 years. Now therefore be it resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that the town manager is authorized to amend the agreement with Wright Pierce to add additional work and compensation for the Tucker Well project for the sum of $598,500. First reading November 17th. It's MGD.
I think it's million gallons daily.
Okay, thank you. The next resolution is Resolution 2021-2022-16, the New Road Water Main Replacement and Drainage Improvements Project. Whereas the town has secured funding from Community Development Block Grant, Rural Development, and the State Revolving Loan Fund for the project, and whereas Underwood Engineering has performed the design engineering and permitting, and whereas the project will replace the new road water main and improve the drainage system. Now therefore be it resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that the town manager is authorized to enter into an agreement with Underwood Engineers to perform the new road water main replacement and drainage improvements project bidding and construction engineering for the sum of $222,400. First reading November
Can I ask a
17th.
clarifying question?
Please.
When we say new road, do we mean the new road, or do we mean the facility, the water treatment, the fire department, and all that kind of stuff?
That's Young Drive, that's on Young Drive.
Oh, that's not new
Yeah,
road?
yeah.
Okay, so we
We
literally.
mean New Road.
New road.
Okay.
And lastly, is Resolution 2021-2022-17, and that's the Route 108 Sewer Main Bottleneck Replacement. Whereas the Sewer Department has set aside $193,928.86 from impact fees to design and replace the bottleneck sewer main on Route 108. And whereas Underwood Engineers has chosen to be an engineer for the town, or was chosen to be an engineer for the town through a selection process, and whereas Underwood Engineers submitted a proposal to design the Route 108 bottleneck sewer main replacement for the sum of $88,500. Now therefore be it resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that the town manager is authorized to enter into an agreement with Underwood Engineers to perform the design engineering for the Route 108 sewer main bottleneck replacement for the sum of $88,500. First reading November 17th, 2021. And that is all we have. Was there any correspondence to the council?
There is none.
And are there any closing comments? Councilor Kuiper.
I just wanted to correct something I said earlier. I did not get an agenda for the meeting. I got a list of bulletin points that said these are potential agenda items, and there will be an agenda to follow. I just wanted to clarify that so that there was no more confusion.
Thank you. Councilor Blackstone.
I just wanted to thank Selt for putting up the signs on Needle Mill Road. I was there and checked them out, and there's clearly labeled where to park, and that's great. I was surprised, if you've seen the signs, there's no mention of Selt anywhere on the signs, and I was surprised about that. Or the Newmarket Conservation Commission or anything like that. It just says access to Newmarket, to what do they call it?
Piscasset Greenway. No.
It's another name.
I took a picture of it this second.
But I think the
it says
kiosk
parking lot for Piscasset Greenway and trails. That's all it says.
I think the kiosk is coming.
The
That,
kiosk
that was what
will-
Brian's
Yeah.
his email said. So I'm sure that will have more information about CELT, I would imagine, and the Conservation Commission.
Yeah, but signs are great. Now it's very clear. You can park there and where to park.
Councilor
And there
Ward.
were several people there.
Councilor Ward.
I just wanted to let people know that on Friday, the Wentworth Cheswell Memorial Committee is holding an event at the Mill Space. It's going to be at 7 p.m. and we're going to talk about, Wentworth Cheswell, who, among other things, Newmarket native, first black man to ever hold elected office in the United States, was a Revolutionary War veteran, held government office for like 30 years, helped found the library, was our state's first archaeologist, and many other great things, and we're trying to build a statue in his honor. Basically, we're going to have pitches for ideas for what the statue could look like, hopefully something more creative than a man on a horse. So, yeah, if you've got some time on Friday around 7, drop by Mill Space, learn about this really great guy, and learn about the monument we're trying to build in his honor.
Is that on the website, on the Newmarket website?
I don't think it is. It's on Facebook right now, so you can try and get it.
Yeah, I'm not on Facebook. Can we put that on the?
If I have the information,
Yeah.
if they can send it to us, we can get it on.
Yeah,
the website.
Because that's a private group that
Right.
has been working on that. I'm not seeing any other comments. I just had a couple of things that I wanted to mention. The first is I wanted to make sure that I extended a sincere and excited congratulations to the Newmarket varsity girls soccer team for winning the state championship, and to the Newmarket girls cross country team for their divisional championship. I have reached out to the school board chair to see what their plans are to recognize the teams. I know other communities, communities do different things. It's not something that we have done in the past, and I know that we have had other championship teams in the past. But that doesn't mean it's not something that we couldn't do moving forward. And honestly, it's not something that I would have thought to do, except that there has been so much social media anyway, excitement over this particular win, including our state senator, Rebecca Perkins-Kwaka, has gotten involved and is planning to introduce a resolution on the Senate floor to support the girls team also. So that just kind of got me thinking that maybe as a town we should be doing something. But I also recognize that it's really kind of the school board's I don't wanna step on any toes. So, so they are working on, to see what their plans are, and, we'll kinda go from there.
Don't we, the tradition in Newmarket is the police and the firemen drive around with all their
Yep.
signals pointed.
Which they did,
Okay.
which they did. So, which is such a cool event. I was unfortunately out of town when they did that, last Sunday. So, and I also wanted to mention the NHMA, which is the New Hampshire Municipal Association Conference, started today, and I had the chance to attend in person, as did Councilor Braybeck, and I went to a few different workshops today. One was on ARPA funding, which was very informative. It was a panel discussion with 4 different communities, and it was really interesting to see kind of where each community is at, and each community is very different. And so some people, some communities already have their plans in place, and other communities are really just kind of beginning the process. And so we're kind of somewhere in the middle of that. So that was really informative. And another presentation I went to was on community power, which, the work that the Energy and Environment Committee is doing, it seemed like a good fit to go to that. And then a right to know workshop, which is always a good refresher. And one of the things question that I asked actually at the end, because this comes up in so many of our committees, not so much the town council, but in some of our committees, we can't use Google Docs. We can't collaborate on a document, at the same time. It does constitute a meeting. I asked specifically, I was hoping that maybe the answer had changed, and it hasn't changed.
How many times did I say it?
I know. Would you like to think that maybe the law would catch up with technology?
No,
It
it
has
doesn't
not.
happen.
So someday, and that's all I have. So I would just like to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving. Before we adjourn, Councilor Conley.
Oh, I just had a question about the whole Google Doc thing. Does that mean that, like, 2 people can't be in the same document at the same time, or does it just mean that you cannot use Google Docs the same way?
You cannot do edits online of a document.
Okay.
If you haven't noticed, I do not send you guys Word documents. I send you PDFs, so you cannot edit those.
Okay.
Because if you edit something online, you're basically having the discussion of editing something outside the public purview.
Although Word docs came up, and that was a different, because it's not the same. Because on a Google Doc, we can all be working at the same time.
You can now on Word docs.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So.
But I don't want. That's why we do not send you we send you PDFs, so you cannot edit those and get down that road.
Okay.
Councilor Sanders.
So if somebody, let's say the Arts and Tourism Commission posted their minutes to Google Docs so we could all see it, we shouldn't be doing that. We should be taking those minutes.
You can see it. You can't change it.
Okay.
So you can post it.
You can
with
post
no
it
edit
with, okay, post with no,
capabilities.
okay,
You only.
Yeah.
okay.
Right. So that would be the difference. You can still. It's not that Google Docs are not allowed, but the editing capacity.
And in the Word situation of the old system would be, you send a document to individual A, edits it, sends it to B, edits it, C, edits it. That's against the rules, because you're circumventing the public meeting.
Okay.
It's not 2021. So with that, I would like to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving, and our next meeting is December 1st. And seeing no other comments or questions, I will consider us adjourned.